Hey everybody,
Hi.
how you
Hello,
doing?
hello.
So I am running the show by myself today. Danielle got her second vaccine today, and we planned on her not feeling very well, so I just told her to take the day off. So bear with me as I'm getting people in, and I'll start the training probably in about 5 minutes. But feel free to chat in the chat below and share any questions or anything you'd like. Oh, there's my mouse. Just want to make sure everyone is all good over in Mighty Networks before I get started. But how's everyone's day going so far?
So far, so good.
Good. All right, my computer's starting to get kind of hot. La, la, la. Can everyone see me and hear me just fine?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yes.
Awesome. I was having a little bit of issues with my webcam beforehand. All right, well, oh, there we go. One more person sneaking in. I think we're all good there. Hey, Trina.
Hi,
How are you?
how are you?
Good.
I will mute myself. Hold on.
No worries. Make sure my phone is muted. All right. I'm gonna actually probably call that pretty good. But Trina, since you came in after I mentioned it, but Danielle's not gonna come today, so I'm taking full reign of this today. And just let everyone know that I kind of tweaked the topic just a little bit for today, partly because I know Danielle wanted to touch on how to use Reels to convert people to your email list, but I also got a lot of questions of like, how do I create a reel? And we got a whole bunch of questions of on Reels when I did the Instagram training last time. So I figured I'll just cover some of the basics of Reels, some of the best practices, and then just some ideas of posts. And then I figured at the end we could do some questions and we can deep dive from there. So without further ado, I say let's get started. So if you see me looking over here, I'm managing a couple different screens, so that's what's going on. But so, like I said, just going over beginner's guide to Instagram Reels. And so today, basically going over what Reels are, basics of Reels, ins and outs of them, best practices, where to start if you're stuck on content creating. Like, yeah, I'm all board for the Reels, but I don't know where to start or how to create posts for them. So I'll give you some ideas to go with that, along with some time-saving tips that I have learned along the way, and we'll go into questions after that. So feel free throughout the program to pop your questions in the chat below. I will probably get to most of those at the end just because it's kind of hard for me to stay focused and manage the chat by myself, but feel free to talk with me there and I will check there periodically. So go over Reels, the basics here. Reels are short video clips that you can either add music, voiceovers, or other visual effects. I like to think of them as like mini commercials, and I'll dive into that a little bit more later on. But I've had a few people ask me, like, okay, so what is the difference between Reels and what people post on TikTok? And to me, there's not like a huge difference. They're very similar. But to me, it's more of like a culture and content focus that's really different. I don't know if you've been on TikTok at all or recently, but there's very different vibe that you get over there. They're very niched and really supportive, much like Instagram, but there's just a little bit of a different culture there overall. So with that, the content's a little bit different. I like to think of Instagram just personally as a little bit more business focused or a little bit more value based. Yes, TikTok has that too, but there's slight differences. So, hey, Crystal. So overall, I really like posting reels because to me, it's a great way for you to provide your followers with real glimpses of your personality and character, and overall just have fun in your brand and just in this authentic way that you can't necessarily do through a post. It really, really builds that know and like and trust factor that we like to really instill in our brands that we help with here at Snap School. So one of the really cool things that I like about Reels is that they have a longer shelf life than a lot of the other content that you post on Instagram, like stories and lives. Yes, you can save your stories to highlights and people can go and look at those later. And yes, you can save lives to IGTV. But I am finding that Reels actually will recirculate and will continue to do so for at least 90 days, if not more. That really depends on your content and how the quality of your reel is, and how it reaches people. But that's a common thing I'm finding. I know a lot of people will create reels and they'll continue to see fruit from it for months afterwards. So that's probably my favorite thing. Oops. So that kind of leads into how powerful reels actually are. And short story is they're just a fun way for you to connect with your audience and share more about you personally. Um, they can be really easy to create and batch once you get really comfortable into a good groove with it. I mean, you can get as involved with it as you want, or really not at all. Like, you don't have to get super polished if you don't want to. Like, I know a lot of people will just put on a nice clean hoodie and not have any um, investment in the background, just like a clean background with their like in their bedroom, and they'll just create reels that have the quality and value. But definitely, there's more people that put more polished efforts into it, make it on Canva, so it's really flexible. Um, but with that, with the fun factor and the ability to have it such a longer shelf life, your content on Reels actually has the potential of getting a much higher engagement and go viral quickly. And I put viral and question or not question marks, quotation marks, because that's not our real goal here. Yes, it's nice to have your content go viral and lots of people see it. But I like to think of it more as it's going viral locally or a mini viral post in the sense of it's performing very well, everyone's engaging with it and responding to it positively, and it's just performing well overall. So like I said before, it has much longer shelf life. But if you're wanting to grow your account in a really authentic and organic way, Reels is a great option for you to do that. So that endorses the power of Reels. And as you can see here, I have a screenshot of my account. Now, I haven't been posting very consistently, and I've only published a couple of Reels, and I'm still learning along the way. So I'm basically sharing what I've learned with you guys. But as you can see here, these are purely just days that I have posted Reels, and you can see how my insights have skyrocketed. Now, for me, I have about 1,000 followers. And I think we'll get about reach of 500 people, and it really depends on the content. But a lot of people have seen my reels. So again, I'm still testing all this out, and I'm happy to share with you guys along the way of how it's going for me. But to me, I'm really encouraged by these results. How's everyone doing? You guys still tracking with me? Perfect. All right. So then, what makes a good reel? Like, I know a lot of people will just go on there and film themselves and point to the screen and do all that and share some value, which is great. But I have seen this formula and this framework again and again throughout other people's reels, and a lot of people have preached to it, and I find that it works really, really well. So, to make it simple for you guys, if you keep in mind just hook, value, and call to action, I think you'll be in good shape to start your first reel. So let me dive in a little bit deeper with that. So a good hook or captivating opener, or just a way for you to grab your attention or your audience's attention within the first 3 seconds or less is really, really good, because You want to be able to stop the scroll and grab your audience's attention instantly. If they're going to keep scrolling by, then you're not going to get good reach. So then once you have your good hook, provide your value, whether that's an educational tip, you're providing some sort of entertainment, or inspiring your follower in some way. Choose one of those, you'll be good. Then you want to be sure that you're actually following up with your followers at the end after they've stayed through it and they've invested in your post. Make sure you have a strong call to action, or CTA for short. I'll reference to that a lot. But that's going to have you ask your audience to do something. And I will talk more about this later, but that can be either like follow you for more tips, or visit my bio link, something to that effect. But really the pro tip here is that this framework really applies to all of your content on social media, Instagram posts, Instagram stories even. So I won't go too much further, but if you stick with that, I feel like you'll have a good success for your first reel or moving forward. So best practices overall for reels. And these 4 tips or practices that I have here are a great way for you to grow your following organically. So keep in mind that these are just best results that I feel like are best for you guys. So definitely I recommend this hardcore. Plan ahead, script out your reels and captions before you start recording. This will put you in the best mindset and really just streamline your content creation. I can't tell you how many times I just decided, okay, I'm gonna make a reel, put myself in front of the camera, and just be like, oh yeah, there's 1,000 things I could make a reel on. I don't know what to do. 2 hours have passed and I've done nothing. So let me spare you, please. So then next is frequency. Now, Instagram recommends that you post about 4 reels a week if you really want to like move the needle forward. And so if you want to go with this recommendation, definitely find time to batch create your content. And if you have questions about batching your content, I can definitely give you some tips because I love being efficient with my stuff. But definitely 4 reels is very aggressive. So I say don't let that discourage you. Try doing 1 a week if you're just want to get your feet wet. But I'm personally going to try to do 2 reels a week here pretty soon. So if you want to join that challenge, let me know. But that's just a goal. You don't have to do 4 reels a week, but definitely a recommendation. So when it comes to actually posting your reel, definitely stick with the times that normally work for you and your audience. So if you find that 3 p.m. in the afternoon works really good for you, test that out and see if it works for your reels. It's not going to always work the same every time, but definitely be mindful of the best times that work for you. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But definitely don't be afraid to experiment with different times too. Like you might find like posting earlier in the day works better because your content has more shelf, or not shelf life, but time that people are seeing it throughout the day. I don't know, could work for your account, but don't be afraid to test it out. Now for hashtags, I have had a few people ask me, should I put hashtags in my reels? Should I not? And I definitely recommend that you put all 30 in the caption of your reel. And the captions, excuse me, are very much like your feed posts. So nothing different there. But definitely add all 30 hashtags because, I mean, while it doesn't make a huge difference in your performance of your post, it will definitely boost up your performance a little bit and help people define your content later on down the road. So another great practice that I like to recommend is record directly within the Instagram app. Instagram has stated that they will not downgrade or anything, but they don't like to see watermarks in other people's posts. So like if you've shared watermarks from TikTok to Instagram, it doesn't look as well. So it can't definitively prove it, but the performance might affect it just a little bit. So I definitely just recommend removing the watermarks from your content, period. It'll make it look cleaner and people will be more likely to look at your stuff. I don't know about you, but that's the case for me. So if you want tips on how to remove the watermark from TikTok, definitely hit me up and I can show you a cool hack with that. But if you're using a video editing software to create your reels, like I know Danielle likes to use Splice, and other people have used InShot, definitely spend a little bit more money to upgrade to remove those watermarks. Another great thing to add to your reel is a cover image. Now, this looks really great for your feed post or for your page in the feed. So this is basically the image that you'll see on your page, and it's just a preview. Those really help to boost up the attention when people are going back and looking at your content. It grabs your audience's attention. I like to really think of them more like thumbnails, like when you're searching on YouTube and you're looking at people's videos on your recommended videos, you're drawn to those thumbnails. So definitely keep that in mind because you're trying to get attention on your reel whenever possible. You can either upload that directly from your reel. So say if you made a cover and put it within your reel, you can definitely do that. Or you can just make it like I do, make it in Canva, save it to my camera roll and upload it when I've been posting my reels. There's an option in Instagram that asks you to upload a cover image, and that's where you would do it. So for the length of reels, you have up to 30 seconds to create a reel. Now, Instagram is testing a 60-second reel. It's not publicly released to everyone, but 30 seconds is what most people have now. If you don't have the full 30 seconds, don't panic. It's fine. A good sweet spot that I've been finding a lot of reels have been performing well is about 8 to 11 seconds. And again, that's not a hard number to go about, but just keep that in mind. If you follow the formula I shared with you before, definitely I think you can stretch it out longer if you need to. But just be sure that you're engaging your audience throughout the whole thing, giving them like breadcrumbs, so to speak, and encouraging them to watch to the end. Now, with that said, make sure that the quality of your video is good. The quality can really make or break the performance in the feed. So make sure you at least have good lighting and you have clear audio if you're going to be recording a voiceover or if you're recording something, period. Just make sure everything is clear, crisp, and people can easily see everything. All right, so text placement. I will say this is the hardest one for me to remember because I get so excited about just creating my reels. But if you can, try to keep the text placement if you're adding text to your reel within the square space that is traditional to a post size. So that's about 1080 by 1080 pixels if you're making something in Canva. But try to keep your text within that square. It makes it easy for you to catch people's attention as they're scrolling through. Plus, it just looks cleaner. I mean, it's not a huge deal if it doesn't happen, but it's just nice overall. With that said, make sure to keep the text down to a minimum. Don't just have paragraphs that are covering your face. Make sure that it's just short and sweet and people can read it quickly. On the note of videos, make sure that you're filming your video in portrait view or vertical. It makes it easy to post directly to Instagram. But if you're posting or creating reels in something like InShot or Splice or even Canva, you can think with the orientation just a little bit. But raw footage, just do it. Do yourself a favor and post in portrait view. So with that, now that you know some of the best practices for reels, you might be wondering, okay, how do I start like actually creating the post ideas and going out about it? So I won't be showing you today on how to make a reel, I kind of realized I needed to make a video to go like show you how to do that, or at least take screenshots, and that was my bad. I did not plan out very well, but I will be happy to record a video, a tutorial. If that's something you guys would like, just let me know and I will post it in the club for us. But I'm going to definitely share my favorite tips for helping you brainstorm and coming up with the ideas for your content. And this doesn't just apply to Reels. You can definitely use these techniques for anything else to help you generate content. But I find these are really great for Reels. So one of my favorite tips is to actually just check your insights on your page. And again, if you need help finding where your insights are in Instagram and how to navigate them, happy to help you. But definitely check your insights and see what type of content your audience likes. And are they responding well to some quick tips you shared, some advice, or is it giveaways that they're liking? I don't know, but definitely see what they're responding to and seeing if they're commenting a lot on it, saving your post, any positive reaction. I would definitely use that post again to repurpose and turn it into a reel. Like I know a lot of carousel posts do well, like a lot of people save those. If you did a carousel post, even just 2 weeks ago, take those bullet points that you used in that carousel and turn it into a reel. Like that is probably like one of the best ways to get a quick idea for content that you know your audience will like. So definitely some trial and error there in the way of like different ways to present that content. But I love this idea. So then, if you are a fan of content buckets like I am, and we talked about that with Danielle probably a couple weeks back now, so definitely check that training out. But visit your content buckets and see if you can generate any ideas from those, and definitely focus on one bucket at a time. So for example, if you wanted to share like some quick tips on for vet students, if you wanted to share some quick tips on how to apply for vet school, that might be a great post for you. I don't know, but consult to your content buckets is the story. So other ideas that you can use for your reels, and I will post this training and I will share my notes on this later for you guys. So feel free to write these down if you want to, but no pressure to. But I just wrote down some 10 ideas that I came up with to see if that would help you. But one common one I've seen that has done really well is bust a common myth or objection you've heard from your audience. So like for me as a social media manager, when I'm helping other veterinary assistants in the hospital that want to pursue more social media management, for example, but don't feel confident in their skills. One thing that I get asked a lot is, did you get a marketing degree? No, I didn't. I'm just a huge nerd and love this stuff. So one objection that I would probably share with them is like, you don't have to have a marketing degree in order to be really good in social media. And then I would probably follow up with some tips. But just one idea for you there. Another idea for posting for Reels is share a number of tips. So like 5 tips from your last blog post. So if you covered 5 things in your last blog post, take each of those bullet points and turn that into a reel. So you could post or point to each of them to a song that's upbeat, snapping, or play with some of those transitions. I can definitely share what those look like later on, but try some different ways of sharing those. Another great way is for you to show behind the scenes of you either creating a product or providing a service for someone, or even in a day of your life. I've seen a lot of veterinarians share a day in the life of a specialist or GP, relief vet. I mean, the list can go on and on, but show behind the scenes some real life action of what's going on in your life. Another one is before and after. I've seen this with a lot of transformation videos. So there's lots of possibilities for us here in the industry. Another one is share a fact or an unknown tip. I've seen a lot of these for like Canva tips or Instagram hacks. You could share a tutorial or how to show someone how to do something. This one I've seen that's very popular is share your favorite books through tools or resources. So a little side tip here is on Reels, you can do is green screen. And so what you could do for like your favorite books, if there's like five positivity books you want to share with your audience that you just absolutely love, take screenshots of the books or actually pictures of the books that you have on your shelf, and you can share those books in the background in the green, and they act as the green screen. And you can either be on screen with it or just have the voiceover. Like you don't even have to be on camera. So that's one really cool one I've liked to see. But another post is doing a parody of another Instagram creator's reels. This one's popular on TikTok. And I definitely say don't hop on every trend that you see. Make sure that it fits with your brand and fits with your voice. But do a parody of someone else's reels. Like it's not stealing, and actually can be very flattering if you do it well. But see, search through other people's accounts and see what other ideas that you can use for inspiration from there. So that kind of goes with 8 and 9 together, but 10. Some people don't have the remix still, I think. I could be wrong. But like on TikTok, you can duet with someone else. Remix is Instagram's version of that. So what you can do is go to someone's account, go to the reel, and you can remix that reel with them. And that would post as a separate reel on your account. But I think it's pretty cool to do that. And I'm thinking about doing like a sort of a challenge for the club with remixing. So stay tuned. That's still an idea I have, but it could happen. Oops. So those are the 10 ideas I have for now. But for a tip on how to batch reels, I did write down a few steps here on how you can do it within the Instagram app. And again, this is just for the Instagram app. And I did not write this down here, but definitely pick a day in the week, the month, whatever, and create and shoot as many reels as you can. Like if you know you want to do one reel a week and you want to do it for the month, see if you can carve out some time, like on a Saturday, 3 hours, whatever, how long it takes you, and just record those reels. I promise you, if you can at least record them and get them ready for you to put together later, it'll save you a ton of time. You can write the captions later, but definitely try to get the video work out of the way. But definitely some best practices as far as like batching them. If you're just wanting to go one by one and complete a whole produced reel, brainstorm your ideas and decide what you want to focus on first. Don't be me and waste 2 hours just staring in front of the camera like deers in the headlight. But once you have your ideas written out, script your scenes out, including all your scenes, your text, and the audio. If you plan to use music, have that planned ahead of time for sure. Like that, I don't know about you, but for me, choosing the right audio if I'm using music is a huge time suck. I've trained myself to actually like find the music first and then let the creativity fly from there. But long story short, script out your reels before you actually sit down to create them. Because with that, then you can grab any props that you need, any outfit changes, or really anything you want to include in your reel. And that might include your cat, so plan extra time for that. But then if you're adding music, apply your music to it. This also applies to your the voiceovers. Actually, I think you might have to add your voiceover after that when you add your text. I have to look into that. But add your music at this point because I know for sure you do that before you record. Then record your clips. And again, I recommend recording your video clips for one reel at a time. Don't try to mash it up all together because it might confuse you. It confuses me. Then after you've got your video clips added in there, that's where you can add your text within the Instagram app. You can't add it before as you're creating the clips. you have to do it afterwards. So then if you want to plan and save your posts for later, you can either save them as a draft if you've created like the caption with it, or if you've just recorded it, you can download the reel. But when you download a reel from Instagram, it removes the audio, and I believe that's just for music. So keep that in mind when you re-upload the reel into Instagram. You can add the music back when you're uploading it, so it's not gone forever. Just make sure you save the audio before you forget. So if you're not wanting to do it all in Instagram, if it's just a little too clunky for you, I know for some people it's still kind of clunky. It has gotten better, and I'm definitely enjoying the simplicity and all the additional features that they have in Instagram. But you can definitely create reels in other apps like InShot and Splice or even Canva. I have definitely played with making reels in Canva and I so love it. So if you have questions about that, let me know. From there, I know that someone in the club asked about audio options, and I did not write this down here, but currently you can't search for trending music like you can in TikTok, which is kind of a bummer. But you can definitely search for audio through other accounts. But before I get to that, wanted to let you know that not everyone has music in the same sense. So, like for business accounts, if you have a business account, you only have access to royalty-free music. So you don't have popular music from like Beyonce or Harry Styles or any of those fun songs. But if you switch to a creator account, you'll get the full library of music. So you have a wide variety of music that you can pick from, including the popular songs. So with that, if there's a reel that you find that you really like and you love the audio, you can use that audio from that reel in the moment, or you can save it for later. And I did grab some screenshots to show you where that was at. Uh-oh, what happened to my slide? I bet I got it out of order. All right, bear with me. But this is how you save audio from another reel so that you can save it for later. So if you are watching a reel, you can come down here to the bottom left, click on that, and you'll be taken to the screen where you can see other reels that have used this audio, and you can either save it for later or you can use it there in the moment. I really like this is where I get a lot of my inspiration, is clicking on an audio bit that I love and just watching all the different ways people have used that audio. I just love doing that, period. I like stealing ideas. So, little tip for you. But, so from there, if you have a business account still, it's really easy to switch over from business to creator, by the way. There's not much difference besides the copyright. But if you still wanted to keep your business account and wanted to use a video editing app like InShot or Splice or even Canva, you can upload music from those apps. Just a overall disclaimer I like to live by is just be mindful of the copyrights of the songs. I don't know all about the licensing and stuff, but just keep that in mind. I think I might have to go back. Yeah. So, as of right now, there isn't specific insights for Reels, which might be kind of frustrating, but I'm finding ways to get around that, and I think that's totally fine. Like, there's ways to find the stuff out. So my top recommendations for you guys, if you really want to track the success of your Reels, before you even create them, be sure you have a clear goal for your reel before you post it, and use that goal to track your success. So like for example, if you're posting a reel to get people interested in your new online course or something like that, and you've provided a little bit of value from that, and you want to have people go to your website, for example, and have people sign up, that's your your goal. So if you have a high amount of people, high traffic amount, whatever, of people going to visit your bio link in your profile, I say that your goal was achieved. Like from there, you could check your website analytics to see if people are actually signing up and all that stuff, but your post would be converting at that point. So I mean, views are great, but it's not the most important metric, because it's like people walking by your storefront and seeing your stuff, but they're not actually buying anything. So, I mean, like I said, views are great, but be sure that you are finding ways to actually get your goals met or have people convert over to your page. So, some successful reels that have good call to actions inspire people or prompt them to either like your post or comment, share with a friend. Like I said, visit your profile or clicking the bio link. And even binge watching your content. Like I've seen it before where like people have been looking through my content and they've liked it or they've commented. Like there's 10 notifications of someone just going through my page and interacting with it one way or another. So to me, that is another great conversion or successful indicator of how well my content's doing. So yeah, again, just be sure you have a good, clear call to action, and be sure that relates to your goal for that reel. So now that my slides are out of order, there we go. It's time for questions. So feel free to hop on screen or on mic and ask your questions directly or pop them into the chat, but I am here for you. Hopefully I didn't lose anybody. Let's see. I've seen lots of social media tips for 30 reels in 30 days or more. Is this better than 4 reels per week? Again, the number isn't a hard or fast rule, and it really just depends on the content in my mind. Like, I mean, you could produce 30 reels in 30 days, but again, you have to be sure it's aligning with the kind of content you want to produce or that aligns with your audience and it's actually making a difference in your traffic. I definitely encourage that for the consistency and the least. I mean, we all know, or at least I've mentioned it before, but definitely Instagram loves consistency. So I mean, definitely if you can manage the quality of your reels, then definitely go for it. Like there's no hard and fast rule about number. That's just what Instagram recommends is 4 reels a week. Now, if you guys did want to talk about how to get your reels converting to your email list, I'm more than happy to talk about that. I just wanted to be sure that I covered some of these basic stuff for the reels because I know I've had a lot of people ask, and not everyone who is on here, but definitely having this recording for later is definitely helpful. Well, I'm glad to have you here, Belinda. So, let's see, Belinda would love to have a how-to guide on how to use some of these apps. Okay, yeah, definitely. I will record that for you, and I'm assuming that you're talking about like actually how to make a reel. If not, definitely feel free to clarify. But yeah, I would be happy to do that. I mean, I know it can be kind of daunting, like actually going into the app and like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. But it's fairly simple if you are willing to take just a few minutes to get familiar with it. Um, but yeah, okay, yeah, definitely. I would be happy to do that for you, Belinda. Okay, so let's see. I feel like I don't know if I should be using Reels and TikTok or just focus on Reels. What are your thoughts? So I again, it kind of goes back to your goals and kind of the audience that you're wanting to attract and speak to. Like, Sydney, I know for you, your audience is trying to attract some of those vet students, but correct me if I'm wrong. But also attracting some of those pet owners that are more on the exotic side. So if you're finding that a lot of your audience is over on TikTok, I definitely say invest some time over there too, as well as doing reels. Like there's no problem, like no shame at all. Like I highly encourage it, depending upon the platform for sure. But definitely taking your content from TikTok or from Reels, vice versa, and repurposing it. I just say make sure that your call to actions are optimized or appropriate for each of those channels. And if you aren't sure if there's like a piece of content that you're not sure where it goes, we're definitely happy to help. I know both Danielle and I are happy to help anyone with that. But does that help you, Sydney?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so do you recommend to add the 30 hashtags in the comments or in the post? So I've heard back I've heard different things about this. I personally think, I personally like to put them into the post itself. Um, it just looks weird and insights just for my mind, having that first post be from me with the hashtags. Um, to me, it just doesn't look as clean, but that's just a total personal preference. There's no hard, fast data saying it makes a difference. It just indexes your post the same way. Perfect, then I'll stop sharing my screen so that I can read comments a little bit better. You're welcome. Well, I hope this was helpful for you guys. And again, I'm sorry for the like last minute topic change. Um, but if you're wanting to have like a more in-depth training about like how Reels, you can use it to convert for traffic from social media over to your website or whatever, I will let Danielle know and we can reschedule that topic, so to speak. But just let me know. Perfect. All right. Yeah, I mean, one like quick win for that, I will let you know, is making sure that you have um, a place for your followers to go if you're wanting them to get on your email list. So that could be as simple as having a MailChimp set up where you have a landing page, where you can create a landing page within MailChimp and then having people check out, or not check out, but opt in for your email list through that landing page. And then that way you can deliver your email. But I highly recommend having some sort of website or landing page or something that you can direct people to, because that is going to be the biggest barrier that you'll have to cross at that point. Definitely, I recommend, if you can, just setting yourself up with a website, or seeing if you can hire a web developer if you're to that point, like Whisker Cloud. But yeah, long story short is you want to be able to have some sort of platform that you can take your followers and turn them into email subscribers. And a lot of your call to actions in your Rails, like I talked about, could be download my PDF for some quick wins or whatever you want to have your lead magnet to say. And that could be your call to action. That could be just, hey, visit the link in my bio for more tips, and have a button there for you to direct people to download your PDF. So that's kind of my short insert there for that. Let's see here. Oh, good. I'm glad you liked it, Natalia. I know Rails can be kind of scary, and like I said, I'm still learning on how to use them and get over like the hurdles of stuff. But I say just give it a go, try it out. Like, I mean, worst case it flops, but that's not a big deal. Like content flops all the time, and that doesn't mean that your reel is bad or that your content is bad. It just means you got to tweak it. Yeah, they are really fun. Like honestly. I mean, I've never been a huge fan of like being on camera, and that's something that I've gotten better about over the years. Of course, my job kind of requires me now to do it. But I like them. Like, I don't know if you've seen some of my reels, but I will actually put a filter on that has a mic, like newsflash. I just have fun with it. I'm a dork though. Oh, yeah. See, if you go onto TikTok, there's a lot more options. At least for me, I kind of get overwhelmed, and I'm a tech nerd. So, yeah, I mean, I will definitely do a tutorial to see if I can help you guys like reduce that fear for sure. Trina. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I have a TikTok too, Natalia, but I'm not very active in it. I've never posted on it. I'm basically there for research. That's the long story or short story of that. Um, so yeah, but thank you guys so much for coming. And again, if you have any questions, definitely let me know. I'm happy to help, and I will definitely share that tutorial to help break down the barriers of the scare factor. Really, I just highly encourage you, even if you don't post anything, go into the app on the Reels section and dink around in there, play around. Like it, you don't have to publish it. Just have some fun. That's basically what I think of it. So, all right, ladies. Well, thank you so much for being here, and I will talk to you soon.